Hey there, House here. There's been plenty of talk recently about pitchers and their use of a sticky substance. For those who don't know, having an added grip on the ball allows pitchers to increase their control with the ball and increase their spin rate, which makes their pitches break even sharper than usual. This, however, isn't anything new to the game of baseball. Since the game has been invented, pitchers have been looking for any and every opportunity they can to overpower or outduel the hitter. The reason that this is receiving more traction as of late is because of the historically poor offensive numbers that all hitters in the Major League Baseball are having this year. As of last week, their overall offensive average is second lowest in league history. The lowest mark in the league was set back in 1968. When that happened in 1968, Major League Baseball decided the next logical step was to lower the pitching mound to allow the hitters a better chance to hit in the following season. At this point, with the near record-setting low mark, it only makes sense that Major League Baseball is going to examine this sticky situation that has engulfed this sport for decades. There was a story released recently from Bleacher Report talking about Brian Harkins, a visiting clubhouse manager who was involved in the game for more than 3 decades. Now, if you're like me, you would say, I didn't even realize that opposing teams had a clubhouse manager. But I suppose it makes some sense when you actually think about it. The opposing clubhouse manager is probably responsible for getting the opposing dugout set up with anything from pine tar, seeds, gum, to any number of other materials that each team has the right to expect in their dugout. Well, apparently with Brian at the helm, he offered opposing pitchers a bit more than just the MLB standards. He offered them something called Spider Tack, a combination of the rosin bag that every pitcher has access to with some other household remedies. Most recently, there have been text messages from Brian's phone showing messages from Garrett Cole, Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, Corey Kluber, and Adam Wainwright, just to name a few, asking for help with a sticky situation. Now I want to talk about what pitchers can expect to face as a punishment if they are caught doctoring up baseballs. As of June 21st, any pitcher who is caught using a foreign substance on a baseball will immediately be ejected from the game and suspended for 10 games. Repeat offenders will be punished at an increased rate based on how many times they've been caught, as will clubs as a failure to comply rule. Anything and everything are subject to change with this first iteration of removing players from the game for actively affecting the baseballs to give them the advantage. If this is found to be successful, Major League Baseball could more than likely continue to utilize this new form of policing the game of baseball to ensure that no one side ever has an unfair advantage over the other. But only time will tell if that is made to be the case. The overall average of hitters, the spin rate of pitches, and the consistency of balls that are being examined after being taken out of play will continue to be watched during the course of the season. Personally, I agree with Major League Baseball's idea of policing the baseballs to ensure that the pitchers are not applying any form of adhesive that would allow for an unfair advantage. However, I do not agree with Major League Baseball's timing of enforcing this matter. If this was something that they really wanted to crack down on, they could have started this before the season began, or even solely in the minor leagues just to see how effective it was. Instead, they're planning on beginning this with nearly half of the season already completed. If this was something that had been an issue for decades now, because it has, then they should have created a plan long before the season started instead of waiting for there to be a significant problem to then attempt to step in and regain control. Major League Baseball has received plenty of criticism from fans and players alike for their handling of this situation. Don't expect that to change as pitchers and subsequently managers are being tossed from the game. Only time will tell if this idea was an intelligent one or one that flounders. Thank you for tuning into the House Report. If there was any aspect of this story that I didn't cover, or if there are any other sports scandals going around that you'd like me to touch on, feel free to leave me a comment on this video or in my posts. And to all my betting friends out there, remember, you'll win some and you'll lose some, but the house always wins.